Well, good evening, soccer fans, and welcome inside Stevens Stadium and Buckshaw Field. David Gentili with you here for Santa Clara men's soccer on the WCC Network, and we have a promising matchup on tap for you tonight. It's the Santa Clara Broncos taking on the Missouri State Bears. Glad you would join us for this contest on Labor Day Monday here in 2019. The maroon and white of Missouri State heading out west to take on the Santa Clara Broncos. Santa Clara 1-0 on the season, a 3-0 win for Santa Clara in the opener over Holy Cross. Missouri State was back at home taking on UMKC in what would have been its opener, but that match was suspended and eventually canceled due to lightning. So a win in the books for Santa Clara, 45 minutes, no result in the books for Missouri State, and those two will tilt tonight. We're going to take a breather for the national anthem and come back. This is Santa Clara men's soccer. Welcome back inside Stevens Stadium and Buckshaw Field. David Gentili for Santa Clara men's soccer on the WCC Network here on this Labor Day Monday here in 2019. Glad you would join us for this NCAA men's soccer matchup as the Broncos hosting the Missouri State Bears. There's a starting lineup for Missouri State on your screen. 28th year head coach John Leamy has a side that is usually known for being a stout defensive group, but also keep your eye up top on Josh Dalling. He had an outstanding season a year ago, 10 goals, 3 assists, and 23 points for Missouri State out of the Missouri Valley Conference. On the other side, for Santa Clara and head coach Cam Rast in his 18th season overall. This is what the starting looks like for the Broncos here tonight. A couple of Broncos getting on the board in the first contest of the season. Julian Bravo scored the opener for Santa Clara. Sam Agasti and Martin Utgard-Assen also scored for the Broncos, the latter two getting their first goals in a Santa Clara uniform. Well, those are not the guys that are in the starting lineup. Speaks to the depth of this club early on. Keep your eye on number 10, Javier Ruiz for the Broncos. The junior out of Barcelona is a playmaking option for this team. Plenty of speed, plenty of weapons, and it should set us up for a fun matchup here tonight as Santa Clara takes on Missouri State. David Gentili with you on the call. Jake Malore is up top running the camera for us this evening as the Bears get us kicked off, and we are underway. Broncos at 1-0 on the year after a 3-0 win over Holy Cross. That was here on Friday night, a couple nights back. And Missouri State, again, 45 minutes into a match against UMKC, and that match was canceled due to lightning, but the Bears were up 2-0 at half when it was called off. So both of these teams had a taste of regular season action. Just one of the matches counted and one of them didn't make it to 90 minutes. Long ball sent forward by the Bears. This one inching toward the Santa Clara box. It heads over to a new Bronco goalkeeper, Guillem Mecho. Plays it on forward. Bears looking to control. That one sent on forward by Sakari Carter. Headed down by Javier Ruiz. And Alejandro Perez putting a long one forward for Ruiz. Talked about Ruiz, the guy to keep an eye on out of Barcelona, Spain. And IES Leonardo da Vinci. Broncos with a long searching pass forward. Good scoop on the control by Akramowicz. Plays one into the box, and it's dealt with by the Bears. That's Kyle Hebert sending it out of play. Hebert, the defender, at 6 feet tall, senior out of Manitoba, Canada. Broncos playing it off the throw-in. They'll leave it back here for Sakari Carter. Missouri State intervening, trying to step forward, and good recovering that time, dropping back by Alejandro Barajas for Santa Clara. Broncos play one up the far side, controlled by Akramowicz and set on out of play by Greg Stratton. Stratton, 6-foot junior, out of Marietta, Georgia. This is a team that is a heavy international roster. John Leamy's side has the Broncos winning a corner. Eduardo Lopez Perez, a sophomore from right here in San Jose and WC Overfill. 17 out of the 24 players on the Missouri State roster, not from the United States. Barajas, low driven ball, good looking effort that time, but headed away from danger by Missouri State. Broncos looking to keep it back into the box. Flicked on, it'll land down into the box, and that time Ben Stroud getting it well away from trouble. Stroud's a big dude, 6'3" defenseman out of Christchurch, New Zealand. So of those international players, you've got 8 of the 11 in the starting lineup today. Actually, no, check that. 9 of 11 from Missouri State. From outside of the United States. Good sliding play to get the move forward for Santa Clara. This one chipped up the wing. Stratton fighting against Alex Akramowicz for Santa Clara, and the Bears will boot this one away from trouble. That's Stroud on the long boot away that time. Mecho is the goalkeeper for Santa Clara. Michael Creek, the redshirt junior out of St. Louis, Missouri, at 6'1", manning the pipes for the maroon and white tonight. That's the Missouri State maroon and white, by the way. If we refer to Santa Clara by colors, we'll call the Broncos the red and white. In the midfield here, this is Stuart Wilkin. All kinds of space for Wilkin, the senior from Surrey in the United Kingdom. Here's Jack Denton. Plays it on forward for Dalling. Sitting in the midfield, sends it back. Greg Stratton. Now back to the center back, Kyle Hebert. Long ball forward will get into the box, and Mecho is there for Santa Clara to take it. Freshman at 5'11", 154 pounds, out of La Villa, Spain. Broncos targeting Akramowicz a couple of times, but Stratton is up to task defensively. On a flick over the shoulder that time by Dalling, but the Broncos win it back. That one chipped on forward. Nice pass to Lopez Perez. And Lopez Perez on it once again. Tries to serve one up there. He's asking for a handball, but that one's going to get out for a Santa Clara throw-in. Denton defending, 5'8" midfielder, the sophomore out of Buckinghamshire in the UK. There's Sakari Carter for Santa Clara. Defender out of Seattle, Washington, crosses one in, headed away by Hebert. Broncos look to put it back into the box. Team's playing a little volleyball right now off the headers, and Missouri State able to get it out the back. Trying to stretch it wide here. That one chased down by Connor Langen, and he's able to get there. Good spell of possession early for the Broncos. A little more than 5 minutes gone in this first 45 here from Buckshaw Field at Stevens Stadium. Emil Christensen defending then from Santa Clara. Sophomore out of Denmark at 6'3" and one of the Santa Clara team captains. Missouri State here with Wilkins. Slides it over to Stratton. Plays it out wide. Nicolo Molitaro trying to cross it, knocks it out off of Sakari Carter, and the Bears will have a corner here. Broncos were all over Holy Cross in that first match of the season. Part of it was some really good defending, really good possession for Santa Clara. Part of it was that the Crusaders just looked really out of sorts in their first contest of the year. But a good win for Santa Clara nonetheless. Wilkin off the corner, curling, far post, keeper falls down, and it's out wide. And I think they're going to give a free kick here. And that's what it looks like it'll be for Santa Clara. Botanist Mecho lost his footing. Didn't see at first sight what happened on that one to the Santa Clara keeper. And they'll get ready to fire one back out the back to get us restarted. Missouri State on the move here. Nice control in the midfield by Molitaro. Foul committed that time by Santa Clara, so a free kick coming Missouri State's way. It didn't appear on that last corner that Botanist Mecho got tripped up with anybody, at least from what I can see. Taking another look up here at the exact same angle we saw just a moment ago. Header down into the box off the free kick, dealt with by Santa Clara, put outside the 18. Bears trying to control it and settle into attack here. Hebert working with his line mate Stroud. Nice pass to the near side to stretch it out. Molitaro once again. Trying to scoot around a couple of Broncos. It's a Darling, but he is dispossessed by Lopez Perez, looking to chip one out wide and sends it on out for a Missouri State throw. Stratton looking to take it quickly. Takes a return pass here from Wilkin, and they'll drop it back into the midfield. Couple options for Denton. They'll bring it over to Hebert. And forward to Wilkin again. Patient possession here from Missouri State. A lot of short passes. And they're controlling it well. They win that one back. Could start an advance here. Stratton cut down from behind, and the Broncos knock one forward with Sakari Carter. And there's a header back onto the goalkeeper, Michael Creek. Creek, a guy who put up some really good numbers as his team starter a season ago. 16 matches, almost 1,600 minutes in net. .76 goals against average. A .780 save percentage, 46 saves. He was 8-2-6 on the year. Was a part of 6 shutouts. Only allowed 13 goals on the season. Cross on for Missouri State and dealt with by Santa Clara's Emil Christensen. They were trying to pick out the goal scorer, Darling. And by the goal scorer, I mean the goal-scoring threat. 10 of them a season ago to lead the team. This one put in on the ground and through to Botanist Mecho. Darling and the forward, Matt Bentley, were in the area. And ultimately unable to get on the other end of that run. Off the long pass headed down, controlled by the Bears. This is Wilkin working against Lopez Perez. Outstanding control from Wilkin, and referee's going to play advantage that time and earn a free kick. See just some of the stops, some of the changes in direction, really doing well that time to open up space when it didn't look like he had that much of it. Talking with head coach John Leamy about Stuart Wilkins, said he's a guy who has really good feet, can really move the ball for our team. Great option to have in the midfield for this Bears side. Bears on the attack. Here's a brace from range. It's on the ground, and it's out for a Santa Clara goal kick. Missed wide of the near post. On the effort from quite a ways out that time by Jack Denton. And that is our second shot of the match here. Not much doing between these two teams in the early going. Alan Camacho Soto for Santa Clara had a good impact on the first half. The Broncos in their win over Holy Cross. Long searching ball going forward, headed down by Emil Christensen, and they'll play it away from danger. Missouri State able to advance, win a throw in a good spot here. Running down the far side that time was Bentley, the senior out of London in the UK. Little tussling that time on the far side. That'll lead to a free kick. It's Camacho Soto, the guilty party for Santa Clara. That time he was working against Ben Stroud. Stratton for the Bears. Scoots it along. Denton looking to open something up out wide. That ball is on. It's going to go across the face of the 18-yard box, controlled by Molitaro. Dowling leaves it back here for Wilkin. Ruiz almost picked it off that time, but both he and Camacho Soto drifting away from the ball, so Missouri State stays on the attack. Lots of space here from Dowling. Sets one up. Nice pass to switch the point of attack. This is Langen. Crosses on from Langen. Dowling trying to get there. Falls down into the box. Great control to stay on it for Missouri State. Another cross is on here, heading far post. Controlled in the box and ultimately played on out for a Bear corner. Two Broncos in the area, Barajas and Akramowicz that time. But the control by Missouri State around that 18-yard box really good in that last little stretch then. They earn a corner and a set piece chance here. Wilkin to take. 5 players in the box. Crosses on, falls down, and will scoot out for another corner. Very nearly getting on the other end of that one. That time was Hebert. So Missouri State keeping the pressure on here. This corner will come from the opposite side. It'll be Denton to take it from the right side. It's that one end over end, header up into the air. Headed away by Santa Clara toward the sideline, and this one out for a Bear throw. Deep in the attacking third. Stratton will take. Bears keeping Santa Clara pinned in right now. Broncos just looking for a clearance. Crosses on to the top of the 18. Flicked header on. Lopez Perez got to it for Santa Clara. Now Bruseth on the far side. As the Broncos try and play out the back, and it'll be slid out that time by Dowling. So Santa Clara gets possession back, and they'll take a moment to breathe here. Adna Geikling Bruseth, sophomore from Norway. Involved on the attack there in the last little stretch for the Bears. About 15 minutes gone in this first half. David Gentili with you for Santa Clara Men's Soccer on the WCC Network. Good early season matchup here between Santa Clara and Missouri State. These two teams met up in Springfield a season ago. And it was the Josh Dowling show for the Bears. Get into that in a moment. Camacho Soto moving forward for the Broncos. Inside and outside the box, turns around, crosses it on, falls down, and chips straight up into the air toward the edge of the 18 and away from trouble. Bears on the far side trying to play one through, but Christensen stepping forward. Quickly tries to turn defense into attack for Javier Ruiz. But Wilkin there to try and win it back. And that free kick will go Santa Clara's way. Wilkin doing too much from the ground that time. This one curling on forward. The advance of Dowling. It was outlast off of him, so the Broncos will have a throw in here. Dowling had a hat trick in that 3-2 win for the Bears over the Broncos in Springfield last season. Asked John Leamy about it, and he said, you know, that was one of those days where it was just our night. Had a fantastic game, had a play that ended up at number 3 on SportsCenter's top 10. Great performance from Dowling in that one. Broncos setting up some offense here. This one left on through. Good control by Santa Clara, but just too far behind the intended target on the pass. Still working with it. Cleared away from danger that time, and Langen ultimately able to boot it well forward and well out of trouble. This is Liam Anderson for Santa Clara, one of the Bronco newcomers, freshman out of Portland, Oregon, and Central Catholic. 6'1", 182 pounds, one of the central defenders alongside Christensen. He's able to step forward there. Launch one forward that could start a Bronco attack. Barajas putting it far side to Perez. Two-man game between those two, and now they'll send it on back to Christensen. Playing a long one forward, controlled by Akramowitz. Was onside then from Santa Clara, working now against Stratton. And the Broncos able to pick the pocket here in the attacking third. Camacho Soto scoots it over. There's a shot from distance, took a couple deflections, as did the clearance, and it gets out as far as Perez. Long ball coming into the box on one hop and headed on back to the keeper. Stratton hitting it through to Michael Creek. And talking with Bronco head coach Cam Rass before the season, he's telling me he feels like the Broncos have a lot of really good attacking options this year. We saw a lot of that in that first match for Santa Clara against Holy Cross, and even a good number of the guys that didn't end up getting on the score line still had a pretty big impact in that one. This one played out just past the halfway line for a Santa Clara throw-in. Again, Bravo, Agosti, and Asen, the goal scorers for Santa Clara. Numbers really heavily in favor of the Broncos in the match. 17 shots to only 2 for Holy Cross. Bears with the header off of a throw-in, falls down into a crowded midfield. Now the Broncos will push it out wide. Carter plays one on in. Camacho Soto trying to get a header to it. Cleared away from danger. There's a shot. And stopped away by Creek. Easy stop for the Missouri State goalkeeper. Broncos bidding for one from well outside the 18-yard box that time. Trying to pick one out on the volley. So 2 shots for both sides thus far. Missouri State moving forward. Bruseth. Wilkins sends it into space. Crosses on. Couple options there. And it gets on through. And that will be blown dead. It will be a free kick for Santa Clara. Ian Anderson is our head referee today. Jorge Ruiz, Francisco Franco, and Peter Hansen also on the 4-man officiating crew for this non-conference tilt. And game number 1 officially for Missouri State here in 2019 after that first contest last Thursday night, canceled due to lightning after one half of play. On match day number 2 for the Broncos here in this young 2019 campaign. Anderson surveying his options. Boots a long one forward, trying to get it to Camacho Soto. And headed away by Hebert, taken here by Missouri State. Bears looking to play a long one forward. Anderson knocks it back to Bonanes Mecho. Now Missouri State trying to pin Santa Clara in, and that one took a deflection on the clearance. That time by Molitaro. So it'll get out for a Santa Clara throw-in as the Broncos take out Camacho Soto, and they'll bring Julian Bravo into the match. Sophomore out of Claremont, California, and Claremont High at 6'2", 170 pounds. Had the first goal against Holy Cross last time out. There's Darling for Missouri State. He'll have a go, and that's stopped by Botanez Mecho. Little curl on that one. Just to the left of the keeper from his view. And able to make the save that time. Hebert has it for Missouri State. Sliding challenge that time, and that will result in a free kick for the Bears. Hebert taken down by Bravo, who was fresh into the match for Santa Clara. Told you that Agasti and Asen for the Broncos got their first career goals in the opener. For Bravo, it was his second career goal for Santa Clara. One controlled far side by the Bears, scooped all the way back to the back line. Denton looking for some options forward, leaves it off for Stratton. Again, patience through the short passing. It's been a lot of what we've seen from this Tiger team early on. That a good run and pass to move it up into the midfield. Now they'll leave it back for Denton. Time some physical play from Christensen. Little bump of Bentley. The Bears in a lot of control right now. They've connected about 10 passes in a row. Now going to play the long ball in. Not too much on that one. Nobody able to get there. But just the control and the comfortability you can see with this team. Especially with the guys in the back line. Something that you really have to have against a dynamic attacking group like Santa Clara. And then the other thing that allows you to do is build up your attack from the back. And you have defenders that can do a little bit more on the ball and with their passing. And in a lot of ways, you know, that's the direction the game is going. A lot of well-rounded players overall just at any given position. Makes so the other team has to account for so much to try and keep you in check. Long pass forward into the box. One tapped out last off of Santa Clara, so that time they were able to make something happen on the long ball. Bruseth getting on the other end of that one. Where the Broncos able to get there and force it out for a corner kick. So Wilkin will get set up to take it. 5 Bears in the box, crosses on, and one header away from trouble by Santa Clara. Hebert will chase it down on the far side. Knocked to the ground that time, and that will be a foul and a free kick. Going all the way out and defending that time, Liam Anderson. So Missouri State will get a set piece from the other side, and this is a pretty similar spot to where they'd be if they had won a corner out on the far side. The ball will just get there, maybe a split second quicker. Five options on the far side of the box, bottom left side of your screen. Few more up top. A lot you can do from here. They'll serve one up on the ground, left on through, and dealt with by Santa Clara. Pass forward to Lopez Perez, and he got it away from trouble quickly. And that was kind of a layered set piece for Missouri State. You had a couple of dummy runs going on. This one comes all the way through. Back on the far side for Santa Clara. Alejandro Perez is able to get there. Bears stepping up. They'll win it back in the attacking half. It's kind of one of those layered runs where you're hoping that maybe one of those two decoy runs can pull a defender out of position and open up an easy chance from a good spot. Broncos win the throw in there after some tussle on the far side, and Santa Clara will make a substitution here. The Broncos will bring Nate Shue into the match and take Alex Akramowicz out. Shue 6'1", 175 pounds in his redshirt junior campaign out of New York and Blair Academy. We didn't see him in action against Holy Cross a couple of nights ago. So he makes his season debut here tonight, and Shu is also our halftime interview for this match. Sat down with him earlier this week prior to the start of the season, and you'll get to hear from Nate Shu at halftime tonight. Bears getting us restarted, throwing off to the far side. Broncos looking to switch it. They'll try and pick out Shu. He heads it back for Carter, who tells him to go forward. They're going to launch one on to Shu, and it's played out too wide and out for a Missouri State throw. That's these two names that you certainly think of when you think about NCAA men's soccer. Broncos had a great run in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, trying to get back to that form here in the last couple of years. And the head coach, Cam Rass, would know a thing or two about that. He was on this team's national championship group back in 1989. Broncos co-champions with Indiana, but overall, as Missouri State, Dolling with their first time hit. Well struck, but wide, and out for a Santa Clara goal kick. 5 Final Fours for Santa Clara men's soccer, 20 NCAA tournaments, 12 West Coast Conference titles. And they've won more than half the matches they've played by a good margin here at Stevens Stadium. Bears play it all the way back to Creek. Puts one forward into the midfield, headed on by Carter for Santa Clara. Controlled by Barajas. Through pass, trying to pick out Shu on the far side, giving everything he's got to get there, but that'll get out for a Bear goal kick. 28 minutes gone here. Well, not quite, but almost there between Santa Clara and Missouri State. This broadcast is an exclusive presentation of the WCC Network on Stadium. For more live West Coast Conference broadcast features and information, go to watchstadium.com and the official website of the West Coast Conference, WCCsports.com. David Gentili with you on the call on this Monday night. Jake Malora is upstairs running the camera for us tonight. Nice weather here in Santa Clara. I have to go talk with John Leamy, the head coach of Missouri State, before tonight's game. Asked him how the trip was out here. He's like, we had a good trip. And he said, it doesn't look like we had any lightning in the area, joking around clear skies here in Santa Clara this evening. And that's off to those of you watching in Springfield. Late night on a Monday, just past 10 o'clock. Here's Brusette. Working in short support with Wilkin, who played it back to Stratton. Carter able to win it back, gets it to Shu. Broncos giving possession away, but they'll win it back. So they trying a short little through chip that time. Hebert playing it on to Stratton. Dancing around. Wilkin over for Dolling. That shot's blocked away. Good stepping forward that time from Alejandro Barajas. And Santa Clara will play the advantage here. Got some good numbers forward. Creative idea there. That one is headed on, and a lot of touches in quick succession that time, but it ends up back at the feet of Creek. I really like that attempted pass that we saw from Javier Ruiz. Had a little bit of curl to it, was away from the direction he was running. Missouri State with good positioning, able to deal with it. Now the Bears give it back right in the midfield. Good numbers running forward here for Santa Clara. They'll slip it out wide for Shu. Shu's cross is on, and that one will head wide to the far post and out for a Bear goal kick. 31st minute of action here in the first half. Couple of good-looking chances for Santa Clara off of balls they won in favorable spots. But so far, I think the defensive organization and discipline from both of these teams has been pretty good in this match. Combination of positioning at the start of some runs forward and then some quick recovery to cut out some decent looking attacking moves. Played through on the ground, taken back here by Wilkin. Now over for Dolly. Slips it through to Langen. Good use of the space here by Missouri State. Cut out by Pettis that time, and one back for Santa Clara. Bears recognizing that they had that space to work with on the far side, so what it comes down to is a good piece of 1v1 defending by Pettis that time. Christensen stepping forward. Ruiz for the Broncos. Someone lifted all the way forward as Stroud gets it back to his keeper, Creek. Here's Hebert. Broncos applying a lot of pressure, and he's able to get right through the Santa Clara forwards with a good dribbling move. Here's Langen for Denton. That pass advances it through to the midfield. Through pass here. Bentley's cross is on and slid away by Christensen and knocked away from trouble by Santa Clara. Here's Stroud working with his line mate Hebert. Wilkin for Stratton. Back up here to Wilkin. Trying to play one on through. He'll get back on the other end of this one. And we'll watch it go out. Looks like it hit the flag here. It'll be a throw-in for Missouri State. Bears will have one right in the area of the corner flag here. He'll play it back. Hebert. Good setup to serve one up here. He'll play it on the ground. Nice work to get it out wide. Stratton's cross is on. Headed away by Santa Clara. Bears will control it again. Stratton working with Denton. Stratton again. Olataro trying to chip one on that time. Is trying to float it into the far post, and it's an easy stop for Guillem Paredes-Mecho. You can see the creativity in the passing and the control. Just not a lot of avenues for clean looks at goal for both of these teams. And for me, it's not because there's been a lack of creative options or the intent to create dangerous chances. It's just been, like we talked about before, both teams have looked good defensively, organization-wise and in 1v1 defending here tonight. Broncos will get it onto the back line, looking to switch the point of attack here. Anderson. Nice boot forward for Shu on the far side. Shu stepping through to win that one. And short passing here from Santa Clara as Hendrick Kuhn gets it out wide. Here's Bravo. Bravo has a go from distance. That one is well over the bar and out for a goal kick. Broncos will bring in a couple of substitutions. Sam Agosti and Preston Manthe checking into the match for Santa Clara. Agosti, the senior from Seattle, goal for the Broncos in their last match.
Substitutions for the Broncos.
And for Santa Clara, Manthe making his team debut here tonight. Redshirt freshman out of Las Vegas, Nevada, and Palo Verde, midfielder at 5'11", 150 pounds. Broncos win it back here with Agosti. Ruiz, one pass to Manthe. Ships one wide. Attempted cross is blocked away. Played through on the ground, but dealt with by the Bears. Now Dalling with Manthe working on him. Sliding challenge in from behind. Really nice one that time from Barajas. Clean to win it back. Agosti back for Kuhn, and the Broncos will get it back to Christensen. But you could see just a little taste there of what one attacking attempt and one good luck with getting a lot of players forward could result in for the other side. Now, I'm interested to see how counterattacking factors in if and when we do see more frequent chances in this match. Stroud shoots one all the way forward and headed on out by Perez. That'll allow the Bears to get into an attacking spot here. They're going to bring Ian Jones off the bench. Senior out of Alton, Illinois. Midfielder and a forward for this side at 5'8". So he'll come into the match. And taking a seat for Missouri State is Matt Bentley.
Substitution for Missouri State into the match is number 17, Ian Jones.
And that'll be a handball against Santa Clara after knocking it around a little bit. Barajas, who had a little bit of room that time, really nobody bearing down on him. Just played that one up a little too high. So this is going to be a free kick. And a nice looking spot for the Bears. All right, now it's Bruseth standing over the ball. He just placed it down. One coming in from a little more than 30 yards out. And with the angle, you've got the option to go direct. Well, this has to be really well hit from this spot to find its way in. It'll be the Norwegian, Bruseth. Lining up behind the ball, just a little bit to the left of it here. He is going to try and go direct. Bonanes Mecho parries it away. Shot on the rebound. Another save. And the opportunity, the third time, is put home for Missouri State. It's our first goal of the match. And it comes from Josh Dalling. The Bears lead it 1-0. Well, that was a nicely struck ball by Bruseth to start the free kick. Bonanes Mecho did well to dive, get the ball at least going away from the goal. Second shot came in. He got a hand to that one. And then running in far side was Dalling. So a couple of nice saves from Guillem Bonanes Mecho. But just too much bearing down and some really well-placed balls and well-struck balls by the Bears. And it earns them the first goal of our match here tonight. Now 6.5 minutes to go until we get to the 45-minute mark and halftime. Header flicked on by Shu. Manthe looking to get there for Santa Clara, but it'll be ushered out of play by Kyle Hebert. Well, the West Coast Conference's Top Play Tuesday is back tomorrow. If you see something outstanding from Santa Clara in this match, use Twitter to nominate it for the WCC's Top Plays of the Week. Tweet a description of the play with the hashtag Top Play Tuesday, and it might just make the difference when the conference picks the top 5 plays from this week's action. First one of the year coming up tomorrow. We're excited. If you see anything, help us out. Go on Twitter, tweet a description of the play, and hashtag it with Top Play Tuesday. Broncos will have a throw here in the attacking third after some defending by Ben Stroud. Carter looking to play it forward into the box. Manthe trying to get there, and just too crowded of an area that time. And the Bears will play a long one forward. Bonanes Mecho well away from his roost. But well positioned to deal with that one. And it'll win Santa Clara a throw. Both teams will make a stop. Will Osgothorpe into the match, the redshirt freshman from Sheffield United Kingdom for Missouri State.
Substitutions for Santa Clara, number
And for Santa Clara, Dylan Karuba, senior who had an assist on the first goal against Holy Cross that Bravo put away. He'll check in for the Broncos. Morgan Hill, nearby Bellarmine College Prep, no more than about a 5-10 minute drive away here from the Mission campus. Now Missouri State taking the lead on the 39th minute tally from Josh Dalling. So now between last season and this season, Dalling has 4 goals in a little more than 100 minutes against the Broncos. And things getting a little bit contentious and chippy there. We did see a little bit of pushing and shoving before the free kick that led to the goal. And that time it looked just more like a lot of jawing than anything. But that prompting our head referee, Ian Anderson, to stop the action for a moment and have a quick word with everybody before we get it going. Not all surprising to see. After you get the first goal of a match, see the intensity and even the chippiness pick up a little bit. Perez working on the far side. Nice little stop and go move. A little body feint that time, getting all the way up the flank. Plays one in on the ground, but it's dealt with by Hebert. And now Dalling with the Broncos advancing forward. That one played kind of right across the face, top part of the 18. And Dalling able to get there. Christensen couldn't connect on that one that was bouncing a little bit. So the Bears will take over here with Langen. Now Denton chips it on back. Stroud looking to play one forward. Nobody really in the area as Perez settles down on the ball for Santa Clara. And he'll go with back pass to Badanez Mecho. Broncos switch it to the right side, then play a long ball forward. Bears trying to get back on it here, but Karuba able to intercept. And now Carter trying to play one down the near side, but it gets on out for Missouri State throw-in. Bear team a season ago did not drop a match in non-conference play. 7 wins, 4 draws. In non-conference action, went 2-2-2 in the Mo Valley last season. But a side that is really hard to get one in on. And they were plus 13 in goal differential last year. 26-4, 13 against. 13 goals in 17 matches. Less than 1 a match. That one through the back of Jones, and that should be a yellow card against Santa Clara's Emil Christensen. Kind of flying through that time. The yellow card is out. So Ian Anderson putting Christensen into the books that time. 44th minute here of this first half. That pretty easy to see from up here. Running through at a pretty good pace and just knocked right into the back of the Missouri State player. Now less than 2 minutes to go until we hit halftime. Chance for a long service here for the Bears. They'll put one into the box, falls down. Christensen there to send it out of the 18. Karuba fighting forward for Santa Clara. Takes a pass from Manthe, but just too much behind him on the run that time. It's out for a throw, and we'll see some substitutions here. John Coca will come into the match for the Bears, the freshman out of Durango, Spain. Forward at 5'8". Get about 90 seconds of action here. So controlled on the back line. Bears just moving it across their line. This team plays
1 minute to play in the half.
at a really good speed. And you can say the same thing about Santa Clara, but everything is quick and deliberate, and they can turn up the tempo in a hurry. These two teams are an interesting match. This has been an interesting one to watch thus far for sure. All the way back for Christensen. 30 seconds to go until we hit halftime. Anderson sends a long one forward. Nice flick on that time from Agasti. Missouri State in a position to deal with it. Stroud just getting it back to the goalkeeper, Creek. And that's one thing. You can see the creativity there for Santa Clara, no question about that. But it's been the defensive discipline and positioning on some of those kind of misdirection type plays that has allowed the Bears to do a really good job of holding Santa Clara's offense in check in the first 45. So we get to halftime here at Stevens Stadium. Missouri State on a Josh Goling goal. Doling in the 39th on a free kick set up by a couple of stops from Guillem Badanes-Mecho. The Bronco goalkeeper eventually rolled out to the right and ended up being an easy tap in for Doling from the spot he was in. So Doling, after 10 goals a season ago, tacking one on here in this first official action of the 2019 season for the Missouri State Bears. 7 shots, 4 on target in the first half for them. 4 shots, 2 on target for Santa Clara in the first 45. 2 saves from Michael Creek manning the net for the Bears, and 3 for Santa Clara and Guillem Badanes-Mecho. 5 fouls for the Bears, 6 for the Broncos, 4 corners for Missouri State, 1 for Santa Clara in the first 45 of action. And something that I think was kind of telling of the flow of play, neither team was whistled for an offside call in that first half. So it's been a lot of patience and a lot of good positioning from both of these sides offensively to keep things disciplined, not be caught off, but really well played defensive first half from the perspective, I think, of both of these teams. Again, it's Doling with the goal, 4th against Santa Clara in the last 2 seasons. It has Missouri State up 1-0 here at halftime. Coming up on the Santa Clara Broncos halftime show, we will sit down with Bronco redshirt junior Nate Shue. We'll give you a look at Santa Clara's upcoming schedule and tell you how you can follow along with Santa Clara athletics. For now, it's the Bears on top of the Broncos, 1-0. You are watching Santa Clara men's soccer on the WCC Network. We're at halftime here on the WCC Network. David Gentili with Santa Clara Junior Nate Shue. And Nate, it's the start of a new year, and as you look back on preseason training, what have you seen so far out of this team that you've really liked going into the season?
The first thing is definitely the work ethic and the fitness of the group. I think the coaches said it best that we're probably fitter than we've ever been as a group. I think this group of guys, with the talent we have and the work ethic we have, if we can just get the mentality right each day, each game, I think that we're capable of really achieving something great.
So when you say get the mentality right, what sorts of things come to mind for you there?
Just staying focused for 90 straight minutes. No lapses in focus, and just keeping your eyes on the ball and knowing what we want to achieve and what that takes each and every day.
So you are a midfielder and a forward on this team. You'll be part of the Bronco attack this year. As you think about the attacking group you have and the style of play that you guys want to impose on the opposition, what sorts of things do you think of for the Santa Clara attack this season?
I think we're a really fast-paced team, and I think that we're going to be really dangerous on the counterattack. We have guys like Miles Robinson, Javi, myself, Alex Akramowicz, Preston Manthe, all guys who can move with and without the ball with a lot of pace, and I think that that's going to be dangerous, both coming out of the back on the counterattack and in combination in the final third.
We're talking with Santa Clara's Nate Shue here at halftime on the WCC Network. You came out here for your first fall at Santa Clara, tried out for the team, and you were cut. Spent a couple of months working on it, got your fitness right, and then ended up making the team for the following season. Tell me about those couple of months and kind of what you learned about yourself as a person to eventually get that spot on the SCU roster.
It was really hard. It was not that rewarding each day, and it just taught me that willpower and desire will take you places that maybe you didn't think were possible.
And when you found out that you would be on the roster for the following season, can you kind of take me back to that memory and what that feeling was like of, you know, putting in the work and then earning your roster spot?
It was a great feeling. I feel like I had achieved something. I'd climbed a mountain that I didn't think I was able to climb, and I was proud of myself and really happy for the opportunity and grateful for it.
That's one part of your soccer experience, and it's also a journey that's taken you to Africa, the Bulawayo Highlanders in Zimbabwe. What was the level of soccer like out with the team in Zimbabwe?
It was the best that I'd ever played at. There are guys who have graduated from that team and are now playing in the Premier League in England. There are guys who have played in the African Cup of Nations. There were guys who played in the World Cup. So to say that it was an extremely high level would be an understatement.
And you told me just about the culture of the country, that Zimbabwe is a really happy place. When you were staying there, how did you see that embodied in the people that lived in Zimbabwe?
Well, I couldn't have felt more welcome as an outsider, as an American. It may seem easy to look at us and go, who does this person think he is coming to our country, and just assuming that he can just take his place here, but it was the exact opposite. I couldn't have felt more welcome. I was with my brother, and we just shared an experience with the people there that we'll never forget.
So you're going to give soccer a good run for its money. When you're finished up with that, you told me you want to be an actor, and you have, well, good blood for that. Your dad had a long run on Melrose Place as an actor. Your aunt is Elizabeth Shue, who's very well known. What is it that interests you about getting into acting?
Well, as with soccer, there's this addictive nervousness that I feel every time I step on a field, the butterflies in your stomach, and stepping onto a stage or in front of a camera is the only other place where I've felt that same great nervousness, those butterflies in my stomach. And I guess I'm just chasing that, and I'm excited to see where it takes me, and happy for a new challenge.
Is there a particular type of genre that you really look forward to getting into, or are you one of those people that just wants to give everything a shot and see what sticks?
Whatever pays the bills, I'd say. I'm not going in expecting to be like any of the greats or like anyone who's done it before, because a lot like soccer, you don't know, and it's so competitive, and there's so many people who look like you, talk like you, who want the same roles as you, and you just kind of have to take what comes to you. And similar to the lessons that soccer's taught me, I'm ready for any hard lessons that might come my way in acting and in that world.
Santa Clara's Nate Shue. Nate, thank you for your time.
Thanks a lot.
More of the halftime show coming up after this on the WCC Network. Welcome back inside Stevens Stadium. David Gentili with you for Santa Clara men's soccer on the WCC Network. Plenty more action to catch in the early part of the season here in the month of September at home. The next 3 matches will be here at Stevens Stadium. Coming up this Friday, September 6th against crosstown rival San Jose State at 7:30. And then 2 days later on Sunday the 8th, another 7:30 kickoff as the Broncos take on Grand Canyon. And they end this stretch with the first 5 matches of the season at home September 14th against San Diego State. Let's get you caught up on what's happening elsewhere in the West Coast Conference tonight. We'll stretch it back to yesterday. Up in Spokane, Sacramento State 2-1 winners over Gonzaga. Nationally ranked St. Mary's Gales look primed to have another big year under Adam Cooper. A couple big score lines early on in this 2019 season. And today, 4-0 winners over Omaha. So the Gales improving to 2-0 on the season, 6 goals for, none conceded on the year after they took down 25th ranked UC Irvine a couple of nights ago on Friday to start off the season. Gales ranked 11th, by the way, currently in the national polls. Washington all over San Francisco and Seattle today, 4-0 in that contest. And in San Diego, Torero's taking on Cal Poly Pomona in an exhibition. USD is 1-0 on the year, leading that exhibition match 1-0 in the second half. Here we're about ready to start the second 45 between Santa Clara and Missouri State. Pretty good first half between these two sides. Let's run you through some of the numbers that we saw in that first 45. 7 shots and 4 on target for the Bears. 4 shots, 2 on target for the Broncos. 2 saves for Missouri State to 3 for Santa Clara. 5 fouls for the Bears to 6 for the Broncos. And Missouri State also had 4 corners to 1 for Santa Clara. And neither team was whistled offside. The goal coming from Josh Dolling in the 39th minute of action to put the Bears up 1-0. Emil Christensen picked up a yellow for Santa Clara in the 44th minute. So that's the wrap on the first half. And we're just about ready to get this second half underway as Santa Clara's Preston Manthe kicks us off. And Hendrik Kuhn plays a long one forward as Broncos look to get a ball forward early, try and start fast here in this second 45. Javier Ruiz working with Alejandro Perez. Eduardo Lopez Perez giving it away that time as Langen intercepts. Here's Ben Stroud. More Missouri State, couple good passes to get it up to the front of the attack. Now an opportunity to play a through pass down the wing. Bruseth trying to poke one around Emil Christensen and run off the ball, and that one will get out for a Santa Clara goal kick. An attempted move that time. Christensen, a guy that's really hard to break down in that 1v1 situation. Kept his positioning well and saw it on out. So Badenez Mecho long one out the back and just flicked off the head of Javier Ruiz and out for a throw-in. So the task for Santa Clara will be to try and break down a really good defensive side in Missouri State here in the second 45. Broncos had a couple decent attacking looks in that first half. But unless you're really flowing and playing at your top level, generally speaking, against the Bears, you're not going to have a lot of chances. Flicked one on for Manthe. Now the Broncos back into the midfield, controlled nicely here. Left on. Ruiz has a go from distance and pushes it well wide of the near post. About 6 yards wide that time and out for a goal kick. So trying something from distance. Little range finding effort to start off the second half. Talked about the histories and the traditions of these two sides. Missouri State with 7 Missouri Valley titles, 3 NCAA tournaments in program history. As Lopez Perez gets it back into the midfield. Broncos sending it back to Christensen. Boots one all the way out, looking for Carter. He heads it on, flicked on by Manthe. Lopez Perez trying to get there. Well, good defending from Missouri State. And Adna Bruseth. Now Connor Langen playing it back here to Bruseth once again. Three NCAA tournaments, 7 Missouri Valley Conference titles. This team has been in the MVC championship match 4 times in the last 7 years. And they've come up on the wrong end of that each of those times. They've been really close to getting back to the NCAA tournament. Last tournament appearance was in 2009, about a decade ago. Lofted through pass. Bruseth, couple options running in the middle, plays it on the ground and just a little bit too far behind Josh Dalling that time. But a good run forward. Couple of guys lurking on into the box. Throw in comes in to Dalling and knocked out off the Broncos, so the Bears will have a throw in here. Did a good job in a couple different stretches of keeping Santa Clara pinned in when they've gotten some of these dead balls in the attacking third. See if they can continue that here in the second half. Playing all the way back in the goalkeeper creek. Outside the box to deal with it. Christensen heads one on, drops into the midfield. Bruseth playing it out wide. Good control then from Langen. And Langen with a miss hit, and Badanez Mecho will watch that one go out for a Santa Clara goal kick. For Santa Clara, 20 NCAA tournaments in program history. Last one for the Broncos came in 2015. Got on to the second round. Well, that's been the only one for this Santa Clara side since 2010. Had a couple of good years. But again, trying to get back to the glory days of this program in the late 80s, early 90s, and throughout the 2000s. Bears are going to step up the pressure here. And Badanez Mecho slid out from the Bronco keeper that time, but he's able to recover. One thing head coach Cam Rass said about him before the season, he's a really good soccer player. He's got some creative savvy in the back, but you know, as a keeper trying to dribble out, sometimes you can get a little too fancy with it. Doesn't cost the Broncos then. Bears moving forward here again. Bentley. One pass out wide for Wilkin. He is taken down, and that'll be a free kick. Just outside the 18-yard box. It's going to be in a good spot here for Missouri State. A lot of big options to pick out in the box, too. Stroud is 6'3". Dalling is 6'3". Bentley is 6'1". You got a lot of tall guys that you can pick out. Just to try and chip an easy one in and see if somebody can knock it into the net with the head. A couple of Bears standing over it to take the free kick. It'll be Denton trying to curl one back post, and it scoots on out for a Santa Clara goal kick.
Hey fans, the WCC Network is your source for West
Missouri State versus Santa Clara is an exclusive presentation of the WCC Network on Stadium. For more live West Coast Conference broadcast features and information, go to watchstadium.com and the official website of the West Coast Conference, WCCsports.com. David Gentili with you on the call. We're at minute number 52 between the Broncos and the Bears in the second half of action. Jake Malore is up top running the camera for us here tonight. As fall sports just getting underway, our first official event here in 2019 was women's soccer against Texas A&M. On a week and a half ago now. Santa Clara volleyball off to a really good start this season. 4-0 under first-year head coach Aaron Lindsay. And took down Indiana to win the Indiana Invitational on the road. Also had a WCC Player of the Week in Julia San Giacomo. So keep an eye out for Bronco volleyball this year. Ruiz playing one on. This is Preston Manthe for the Broncos. Attempted cross is slid away. And Langen that time getting there on the second ball to put it out for a Santa Clara throw. Perez to take it. Lifts it for Lopez Perez. Santa Clara controlled it in the box for a moment. for Missouri State. Able to break out the back. Nice ball forward from Langen. This sets up numbers for the Bears. Here is Darling, and just too much on that pass right in front of Bruseth. And he had a pretty big window to hit, too. And they connected on that. That probably would have led to a shot on goal. Well, defending that time from Santa Clara. Sliding play from Sakari Carter. Bears get us restarted on the throw here. Stroud plays a long pass forward. Searching for Bruseth. Bruseth trying to get onto his left. Good play from Alejandro Perez, and that one whistled dead. That'll be a free kick for Santa Clara. 55th minute of action here, and we have not seen more than one shot here in the second half. One from Santa Clara, that effort from a ways out from Javier Ruiz. So the early part of the second half playing out a lot like the initial stages of the game did when both of these teams just trying to field each other out. Here's working with it off the throw. Broncos trying to bring some pressure forward, especially to those midfielders when they've got their backs to goal. Kuhn sends a long pass forward, trying to pick out Manthe. Chested down, gets on through to Langen. Now he'll play one all the way to the opposite side of the pitch. Darling in the midfield, leaving it back. Bruseth heads one down, and that should be a handball against Langen, and it is. Mencho sends it all the way to the front line. Off the free kick, looked like the offside flag might have been up then, so Missouri State will have one of their own here. A bit of a breather in play, a little more than 10 minutes gone in the second half. These two teams just exchanging long passes off of these free kicks. That one out for a Bronco goal kick. Sets up a substitution here as Santa Clara calls on the Canadian international Terrell Smith. Defender junior out of British Columbia, and Burnaby Secondary will check in for the Broncos, and it looks like he'll take the place of Alejandro Perez. So Badanez Mecho off the goal kick for Santa Clara. That one headed away, and the Broncos will win the throw just in the attacking half. And here is Smith for Santa Clara. Stepping onto the defensive line for the Broncos. Plays one on forward and given back here in the pace of this game. I mean, we have seen a couple of long passes, but it's really slowing down here. It hasn't been all that fast in the second half in general. Well, just a lot of it played in the midfield. A lot of those dead balls and then restarts. Not much moving forward. So look for Missouri State, but Emil Christensen will send it on all the way out. Ball was blown dead that time. I think we saw some grabbing before the ball actually got out of the field of play. And the long pass forward. Molitaro getting on the other end of it. Working around a lot of Broncos and plays it out off of one for a corner kick. Zachary Carter there on the defending for Santa Clara. And the senior Stuart Wilkin will come over to take the corner. Lania bears into the box. Crosses on. I think one got a header to it. And that a handball on the Broncos. That is not going to be given. That's going to go out. And that looked very much like a handball against Santa Clara. I think the Broncos got a fortunate break there. Terrell Smith had both of his arms out wide. From my view, not in a natural position. And I think you have to give the penalty on that one. So after it got knocked back to the goalie, Missouri State well, moving on forward here again. Broncos trying to step up and apply some high pressure, disrupting things for a moment. A little bit of running forward that time, and I think some pushing with the off arm of the man on the ball then. Bentley, and that'll give it back to Santa Clara on the foul. So the Broncos will look to bolster the front line here. They're going to bring Bravo back into the match along with Alan Camacho Soto. And Ruiz and Preston Manthe will get a respite as we come up on 60 minutes of action. 1 hour gone here between Santa Clara and Missouri State. Lone goal in this one, Josh Dalling. In the first half off of a free kick, couple of looks, couple of saves from Santa Clara's Guillem Badenez Mecho. Dalling running through, able to tuck away a rebound. Kuhn heads that one down in the midfield. Lopez Perez trying to get there. Camacho Soto left it back. Now Santa Clara running on the far side. Just a little poke out. For a Santa Clara throw. Karuba running that time. But the Broncos working against Stratton. And a couple more substitutions for Santa Clara. Well, one for the moment at least. Tennyson Stevens will come into the match. Redshirt sophomore out of Highlands Ranch, Colorado, and Chatfield senior. Broncos trying to play the throw into the box. Cleared away. They'll have another throw in here on Hebert's defending. And now Sam Agasti will come in and Eduardo Lopez Perez will take a seat. So 4 sets of fresh legs. About the last 2 minutes for Santa Clara. Sam Agasti tosses one back out wide. Broncos will have another throw here. Bears able to get it away from that flank for a moment. Smith left it back for Christensen. I think Christensen wasn't happy with that pass. It was chopped to him on a couple of hops. Too much on the touch that time from Dalling. And the Broncos will have a throw here. Smith will take it. That one last out off of Santa Clara. So Dalling able to win Missouri State a throw in. Able to stay on it here is Bruseth. Been heavily involved on the right side here in the second half. Leaves it back, crosses on, and it'll get over the bar. And out for a Santa Clara goal kick. So Guillem Badenez Mecho. Get ready to take it for Santa Clara. Knocks it forward. Controlled here by Bentley. And kind of curled his way around a screen by Bruseth, and now all the way up the flank. Trying to cut it back to the middle. And stepping in that time to defend was Smith. Broncos will play it out, and the Bears will have another throw in here. Long one forward for Bentley. Lifts it up for Wilkin. Dowling ends up with it. Back for Wilkin once again. Denton will send it on back to the defense. So Missouri State patient here, working with it in the midfield, and this is a lot of what we saw out of this team in the early part of the game. And I think that's what you really like and you can take comfort in terms of trying to defend with the lead. It's a very similar style of play from 0-0 that we see to a 1-0 edge. Wilkin will drop it all the way back here to Stroud. It's very possession-based, a lot of short passes. Most of the long balls, most of the home run balls for this team will come off of free kicks or dead balls. Now Missouri State bearing down on the Santa Clara box. Attempted clearance, given back away, and the offside flag is up as Bentley was in an offside position then. And the other advantage of that style of play is that you're not as susceptible to counterattacking. If everything is very gradual through the defensive third to the midfield and then trying to make those runs forward, you don't open yourself up too much. Your team can consistently maintain its shape. So when you get in those positions, when you have to defend in transition, you're set up well to do so. Talking with the head coach of the Bears, John Leamy, the other day. I always like asking coaches about, in the bigger picture, when you think about philosophy of the game, what do you consider some hallmarks of your program or some things that you want to consistently see out of your team? And he said, biggest question for me is always, can we defend well as a team and make it awfully hard for a team to get on the board? Broncos trying to do that right here. Camacho Soto trying to take a return ball into the box, but it's dealt with by Missouri State in a good run and a physical one by Bruseth to try and advance it into attack. Christensen will turn it around here and play it on back to Badanez Mecho. Terrell Smith in a lot of space. Header on forward. Good kick out the back that time from the Bronco goalkeeper. And Agasti flying through. Heads it out for a Bear throw-in. And Ian Jones, first half substitute, will come back into the match for Missouri State. Nate Shue will also come back in for Santa Clara. Coach Leamy saying we take pride in defending and not giving up goals. And so far, any point in preseason and then in that first 45 of the match that was canceled, didn't allow any goals. He said that's talking about the 2019 season. So we want to be committed to that, to good defending, and then pick the times that are right for us to speed up the tempo, move the ball, and go to goal. Said he feels like he has a really good group this season in terms of playing out that defensive-minded approach. Team that is really strong up the middle. Talking about creek and net with a host of defenders. And we've seen kind of that discipline and organization throughout the match from the Bears here tonight. No question, big step up from what Santa Clara saw a couple nights ago against Holy Cross.
Number 8, Will Osgothorpe is back in the match.
Langen trying to set up a cross, and Smith knocking it out of play. Bears will have a corner here. Only one shot apiece for these teams in the second half, and we're about 23 minutes into it. So about halfway through. Bears will have a corner here. It'll be the sophomore Denton setting up to take it as Dalling checks back in here. Denton serves one up across the face of the 6, and that'll be a foul against Missouri State. Broncos will have a free kick here, and it'll be Badanez Mecho set up to take it. Broncos getting ready to bring on a couple of subs here. They've got the attacking look right now with Agasti, but it's one back for the Bears by Denton. A lot of players around the ball then. Bears take the chance to knock it forward. Broncos recover with Kuhn. And Carter plays it out off of Missouri State, so the Broncos can bring on a trio of players, all starters. Javier Ruiz, Alejandro Barajas, and Eduardo Lopez Perez are in. Julian Bravo is going to take a seat along with Tennyson Stevens and Sam Agasti.
Number 10, Javier Ruiz Duran. And number 11, Alejandro Barajas.
Long throw comes up the far side. Nobody to connect with it there for Santa Clara as Emil Christensen comes back. Badanez Mecho. For Terrell Smith. Plays it back to the Bronco goalkeeper. Trying to play one forward for Alan Camacho Soto. Header is flicked on, and recovering that time was Langan to send it out wide, allow a few more players to get behind the ball then. Hebert sends a searching pass forward. Dalling looking to get on the other end of it. Controlled for Santa Clara by Barajas. Here's Christensen for Santa Clara. There's one forward for Terrell Smith, controlled nicely. Taking it right in stride that time, but just overbooked it a little bit. Now Jones will give it on to Langan. Sends it forward, couple Bronco defenders there. Carter heading it on to Nate Shue. Tries to flick one to set himself up. Shue flying forward, and he wins a Bronco throw-in. Carter on the throw. Lopez Perez. It's it back for Carter, and now for Christensen. Floats one to the near side. Smith once again on it. Smith will serve one up. Couple of Broncos are there. It's just too tall for Nate Shue. And that one will get out. Osgood Thorpe ushering it out of play as both teams will make a swap. Matt Bentley back into the game off the Missouri State bench. Adna Bruseth will take a seat. And for Santa Clara, Alejandro Perez is back in. It looks like Sakari Carter will get a respite here. Broncos head one down off the throw. Camacho Soto, a little flick with the outside of the foot. And he's right about the only guy in the area. So the Bears will get a move on it here, coming up on about 15 minutes of play. Wilkin, seen his dribbling skill throughout our match tonight. Langan. Langan's cross, good curling ball, but Badanez Mecho is there. And Badanez Mecho well positioned that time from the point of service from Missouri State. He was about a yard in front of the 6-yard box, outside of the box. So when that one come in, it wasn't a matter of coming forward and coming off the line. It was just a matter of playing it from where he had already set up. Lopez Perez for Santa Clara, back for Christensen. Broncos hammering away here, trying to find the opening, but that has been a tough task here tonight. Stratton will set up for a throw on the far side. Flicked on by Dolling, controlled by Santa Clara. On into the midfield, Lopez Perez for Ruiz. And I just tried to knock that one down. Not enough on it that time for the Broncos. They made some good inroads in the middle of the field then, though. Barajas controls it. Nice one in stride. Couple options in the middle. He'll play it into the box on a couple of hops, but it's well in front of Javier Ruiz. And Michael Creek there to scoop it up for Missouri State. There's Denton for the Bears. They'll knock it around the back. They get it back to Creek once again. Stroud will play a long one forward, too far in front of Langen. Two more subs for Santa Clara. Manthe and Akramowitz will come back in for Shu and Camacho Soto.
And number 17, Preston Manthe, back in the match.
Couple nice passes that time. Santa Clara expanding its shape. Playing it out wide. An attempted cross while away from goal, blocked away. Perez getting there quickly. That throwing comes in, but play was halted before that for a Broncos sub. Julian Bravo will come on. Stepping into the Santa Clara attack here. Less than a quarter of an hour left. Long throw comes in. Bravo looking to get there. Headed up by Wilkin. And played away by Greg Stratton. Christensen for Santa Clara. Gets it over to Smith. Smith working up the flank, using his speed to create some space. Knocked out of play. Langen defending. And it's a Bronco corner. A big set piece opportunity here for Santa Clara. 77th minute. Ruiz setting it up. It'll be left-footed service from the left side. Broncos flooding the box with options. Falls down into the 18 through a couple Santa Clara players. Lopez Perez drops it back. They'll serve a little chip just to the edge of the box here. And Dolling coming forward and defending. Thought the initial service looked good for Santa Clara, just not quite in the right position that time to take advantage of it. And they did well to earn a set piece late on in this match. That sense of urgency certainly ramping up here as we hit crunch time for the Broncos. Nice pass, leaving it forward for Jones. Jones working around Smith. He's got three options in the box. Tries to turn the corner on him. Big slide from Smith as Jones tried to win it back. A little physicality, but good to see a play on there. Now the Broncos working on the counter. Lopez Perez scoots it out for Barajas. Barajas trying to flick on to get the move to the outside. A good defending from Stratton. And the Bears quickly able to recover. That was one of the better counter-attacking looks we've seen from Santa Clara. Wilkin making his way through the midfield, and Missouri State will calm it down and play it on back to Stratton. Kuhn chips one across, leaving it for Smith. Christensen again, back pass for Santa Clara. Anderson, long pass forward, controlled by Ruiz. And dealt with by Missouri State. Here's Dulling. Being watched by Hendrick Kuhn. Nice find from Dulling. Coming forward is Denton. Denton crosses on. Skipping across, but a couple players too far in front of that one. So Santa Clara here with Lopez Perez. And now for Terrell Smith. Really good pass from Dulling. He just stopped the ball, waited for a moment. Slipped it through to Denton to start that last attacking look. Now this one in a good spot. Here's Matt Bentley. Bentley takes a return pass. Bentley controls it in the 18, leaves it back for Dulling. Now for Ian Jones. Jones setting up for one, and Badanez Mecho got there and then was able to smother it. But he knocked it down, and it was right in front of him. And now he is down for a moment, and time will be called for by our head referee, Ian Anderson. Badanez Mecho getting back to his feet here for Santa Clara. But that initial shot comes in from range, rather. Got a hand to it, but spilled it right in front of himself, so that led to a potentially dangerous chance. Just didn't quite handle that one from distance well. A good ball in terms of the velocity behind it from Ian Jones. Broncos will have a throw in here as both teams go to the bench. Nicolo Molitero will come in for Missouri State, and for Santa Clara, Damani Osei will make his team debut here this afternoon. Late afternoon at 9 p.m. Osei out of Richmond, Virginia, and Cosby. Just past 9 o'clock here on the West Coast. A little past 11 o'clock for those of you trooping it out. Back in Springfield here on this Monday night. So Osei, the freshman, making his Santa Clara debut. Gonna need something big here in the last 10 minutes of action to try and level this one and keep their shot alive at a result. Wilkin. Through pass to Bentley. All kinds of Broncos around him. Bentley around a few Broncos. Takes it himself, and it's stopped by Badanez Mecho. Just kind of strided on in and found his angle that time. Badanez Mecho held his spot. Osei for Manthe. Couple of Broncos in their debut action here tonight. Manthe knocked off the ball for a moment, turns it back around. Trying to get it to Osei, and that combination wins a corner. That's booted out by Langen. It'll be Ruiz to take it for Santa Clara. Broncos loading up the box once again. 7 options in the 18. One headed well away from trouble by Ian Jones, who had that brace a moment ago. Another corner coming up here for Santa Clara. Ruiz serves it up. Short and dipping of the near post, and Dulling well positioned to deal with it. Now Badanez Mecho. Bronco goalkeeper coming all the way up to serve one forward. And an outside the box by Missouri State. Lopez Perez got a touch to it. Broncos trying to work it through the traffic. But the Bears able to clear it right through the middle. Barajas serves one up. One Bear header to it. Brought down by Osei. Sent away by Langen, who stayed down on the pitch for a moment. Now Hendrick Kuhn with the charging run. And that one sent away from trouble. Molitero on the defending. Osei will take the throw for Santa Clara. This one up, headed on for the Broncos. Manthe trying to get there, but another nice piece of defending by Missouri State. Bears have had an answer for everything that Santa Clara has brought forward. Hebert was able to handle that last one. Defending here against Javier Ruiz. A little back heel flick. This one taken back by the Bears. Jones slid out. They're going to have the advantage here. Through pass. Missouri State on the move forward. Great sliding challenge that time by Santa Clara. Big ball one back by the freshman Liam Anderson, and he's running all the way forward. Starting the Bronco attack. Sends it out for Osei, and Osei puts it off of Langen for a Santa Clara corner. And we are going to see a yellow card here. Looks like that Osei will go into the book. And I think that was for that challenge that the referee allowed to play on just a moment ago. Corner for Ruiz. Drifting away from goal. Headed on back, and I don't think the Broncos got the go-ahead to take it that time. Clock is stopped here. A little more than 6 to go in this second half. And it looked like a little bit of tussling right around the goalkeeper here. So Ian Anderson coming over to have a word. Manthe and Molitero right around Michael Creek. Now we're a go for the corner. And it's straight up into the air. Broncos put it back into the mess. Taken back for Missouri State. This is Dalling. Sprinting toward goal, but the Broncos recovering. Lainez Mecho pretty far forward as he needs to be at this time of the match, and I thought Dalling, as this one's whistled offside. Bentley well in an offside position that time. Dalling was eyeing it up like he might have a go from about the halfway mark. I mean, if you think you've got the avenue to do it, it's a fun shot to see somebody try for sure. And it's really hard, even if you have a step on everybody, to try and keep your run going forward with a full head of steam and get all the way in on goal. I mean, unless you're showing them a clean pair of heels. And you've got world-class speed. We got some fast guys out here tonight. Not always an option. Broncos take the free kick quickly, headed on, and falls in front of Creek. That's Santa Clara trying to get the move on that time. They were picking out Bravo. Good look. Be hard to score on a header from the spot he ended up in, but I like the idea for the Broncos then. Broncos looking to get it forward once again. Ruiz, plenty of options to his right. Trying to play it through the Manthe. Lopez Perez looking to run. Missouri State has the clearance. And that ball from Christensen out in front of Osei. As both teams will call on substitutions. Dawson Lee, sophomore forward out of Belton, Missouri. The in-state product, one of only 3 for this team. We told you about that heavy international influence earlier. One of only 3 in-state products for Missouri State. He'll check into the match for the first time.
Substitutions for Missouri State, 26, Dawson Lee.
Molitero getting there to control it around a couple of Broncos. They win it back. They get it to Lopez Perez. Tries a long one forward for Manthe. But Stroud there to defend it. And Karuba will set up to take the throw quickly. Flicked on by Manthe, trying to get it to Ruiz. Ruiz will end up with it here, trying to slip one through into the box. Bears able to recover and play it away. Now big run forward coming from Wilkin. Through pass comes in off to the left side. Karuba trying to defend for Santa Clara. He does it well as Molitero got all the way there, and it ends up out for a Missouri State corner. And this is the point in the match where you're going to see end of match tactics. Bears are going to take as much time as they possibly can before having to put this thing into play. Molitaro and Wilkin with it. And they're just going to park this one in the corner for the time being. Now they'll try and break out. This could lead to a chance. Played one on the ground, but Christensen sends it away. Got through all the way on the ground into the 6-yard box. This one headed over to the side. Molitaro with it. Dancing around here, drops it back. This cross is on. Dolling's in the box, but Christensen cuts it out once again. One flicked out over the top and out for a Santa Clara throw. Less than 3 to go here in the second 45 of action. Dolling's first half goal is the difference. Will it be the only one? This one lifted through for Ruiz. He'll control it, allow a few players to get into the box. Brings it across, headed down by Bravo. Manthe trying to get there. Lopez Perez, and it scoots wide for a goal kick. Adna Bruseth will check back into the match. Or Missouri State and Dawson Lee will take a seat. So Creek setting up for the goal kick. 2 minutes, 31 seconds to go. And now for Santa Clara, it's all numbers forward. It's everything you got at goal. Push the numbers, get some long balls forward. See if you can't get one final chance. Missouri State lifting one through. Christensen trying to get there for Santa Clara. And Bentley did well to make him keep it in play that time. And as a result, Bears a couple passes later will win it back. Well, part of getting that numbers forward is a lot of ball pressure. So the Broncos are going to have to expand and open themselves up a little bit. And through pass up the near side. Bruseth, couple options in the middle. Cross from Bruseth, deflected by Santa Clara, and that one put just wide. Oh my, from a really good spot. And Nicolo Molitaro had a golden shot to put the game on ice. Not just pushing it from that far post. Now there will set up the Broncos with a free kick. Clock is still moving here, so they'll have to get up to take it quickly. Bonanez Mecho, the goalkeeper, setting up for it. Santa Clara is going to take it short here. Served up into the box. Plenty of numbers there. Headed down into the 18. One whip from Santa Clara and sent away from trouble. Still a crowd trying to find the point to serve one up from there. Skune leaves it out wide. This cross is on. Punched away by the keeper. Osei's got it for Santa Clara. He chips it back. And right around the edge of the 18 sent all the way forward for Dolling to chase. It's Dolling against one Bronco defender, Kuhn. He's got a runner near side, and Dolling is just going to take this one over to the sideline. And all the way in the area of the corner flag. Wisely not trying to do anything to give it away quickly. The Broncos will win it back. Headed down into the midfield too far. That time as Santa Clara looked to bring it down, and now with 20 seconds to go. Chance for the Bears to bleed a little clock. Throw-in comes in up the far side as the countdown is on, and one long boot forward should take care of it for this game. Bonanez Mecho receives, he sends one forward, and that will do it. Missouri State on the impressive defensive effort here today. Comes into Stevens Stadium and wins this one 1-0 over Santa Clara. Just sustaining wave after wave of attack. Looking comfortable doing it. Only giving up 3 shots in the second half after Dolling's first half goal. So the Bears, 1-0 winners here today over the Broncos. Missouri State, this will be the first official game after that first game cut short by lightning. So the Bears improving to 1-0 and continuing that unbeaten streak in non-conference play, stretching back to last season. And the Broncos will fall to 1-1 on the year after that 3-0 win over Holy Cross here on opening night. 12 shots for the Bears, 7 on target, 7 shots for Santa Clara, 3 on frame here tonight. Michael Creek called into action for 3 saves for the Bears, and Broncos got 6 out of Guillem, Badanez, Mecho, 10 fouls apiece. 6 corners for the Bears, 5 for the Broncos, and Missouri State whistled for offside one time. Broncos not whistled for an offside call in this match. And apologies for dropping Tigers if I did that a couple of times in this one. Missouri State, the Bears coming in and getting the win. Here today, it was the first half goal by Josh Dalling in the 39th minute. He had all 3 in the Bear victory over the Broncos in Springfield a season ago. He gets one here today, so matchup that he certainly likes, but this is a guy that is no stranger to putting him in the back of the net. 10 goals a season ago, and he gets the lone goal in our match here this evening for Missouri State. Well, that will do it for me up here in the broadcast booth. Quick look onto the horizon for both of these teams. Santa Clara back in action later in the week, Friday night against San Jose State, and then once again on Sunday night against Grand Canyon. That's part of a double-header day here at Stevens Stadium. Women's soccer team will be in action in the afternoon. We'll have all the matches for you right here on the WCC Network. And for Missouri State, it's back out to the Midwest, back to Kansas City to take on UMKC, be on the road, and then back in Springfield to take on Central Arkansas coming up on Tuesday, September 10th. So that's what we will see from both of these teams in the near future. Special thanks to Dino Barra with Santa Clara Sports Information and the Bronco head coach Cam Rast, as well as Nate Shue for taking some time to chat before this one, and Matthew Hevel with Missouri State Sports Information and the head coach of the Bears, John Leamy. Well, for all of us here at Santa Clara, before we send you on your way, we'll tell you that tonight's game has been an exclusive presentation of the WCC Network on Stadium. Our final score, Missouri State 1, Santa Clara 0. For more live West Coast Conference broadcast features and information, go to watchstadium.com and the official website of West Coast Conference Sports, WCCSports.com. For our camera operator, Jake Malore, I'm David Gentili saying thanks for tuning in. We will chat with you again next time. From now, it's good evening from the Mission Campus.